Hello guys, welcome to YouTube channel Phone Mania. So in today's video, we are going to compare the Iqoo 6 Pro right against the Oneplus Nord C2 Lite 5G. So these two handsets are the 6GB 128GB variant, and this is the Phantom Dust color as well as this is the blue tide variant of the phones. So let's start from the build and design, and these two handsets are plastic frame as well as the plastic back on both. And if you ask me about the thickness, this is having exactly the same 8.5mm thickness on both. And if you ask me, the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite weighs more. That means this is 195 grams versus 180 grams. And if you ask me which is more perfect to hold, then I would say the in-hand feel is, I feel it's slightly better on this guy OnePlus Nord C2 Lite, because actually it feels more like a soft, and versus here we can feel as like a matte finish. So in my personal preference, I like the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite, and both are blended to the frame. You can see the back of the phones are both blended to the, so both are really nice. But actually I would say by 2% I felt the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite in hand feel is slightly better. So guys, let's move to display. So this is the Iqoo 6 Pro on the top versus the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite 5G on the bottom. So at a glance that we can realize the Iqoo 6 Pro is much brighter and much more color vibrant in comparison with the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite. Because the reason is this is the AMO LED display versus IPS LCD display, but this is having just 90 Hz of refresh rate versus 120 Hz of refresh rate on the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite. And this comes with Scott sensation protection on the front glass too. So this is coming with HDR10 Plus as well as, so if you ask me about the resolution of about 1080x2400, around 2400 will be the resolution. And the Iqoo 6 Pro has 409 ppi versus 401 ppi on the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite. If you ask me which one is better, then I could definitely say the Iqoo 6 Pro is better in terms of display as well as the color vibrancy as well as the overall color sharpness as a pleasant image output. So I would say the Iqoo 6 Pro is the clear winner in terms of display. You can see the color saturation and all, so really great on board. As well as the OnePlus done really nice in terms of the color saturation, and actually the color seems to be really nice on OnePlus, but due to the dull display as well as the LCD, it feels inferior when it compared to the Iqoo 6 Pro. So the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite comes with 6.59 inch versus 6.44, so you can instantly see that the Iqoo 6 Pro is smaller when compared to the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite. And if you ask me, this is a 90 Hz of refresh rate versus 120. Yes, and you can, if you ask me, then I could say about, I can feel a light difference between both in terms of the smoothness over here. Okay, so I would say 120 Hz. If you have already used any 120 Hz, that means even if you have used the Poco X2 from the old, then also you should take the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite, because you felt that it would be a light slow or something is missing. You would feel like, but if you haven't used any of the 120 Hz or any of the high refresh rate ones, then it's perfectly for you. But I would say about 5%, about 3 to 5% at the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite in terms of the smoothness of the phone. You can see I've could felt a light difference between both. Okay, and now the main thing. So Iqoo is always a great brand, but what happens with the Iqoo 3 is it comes with the normal what we call punch, not having the punch hole camera, just having a normal camera. And if it comes to Iqoo 3, everything was but an LCD display, and this guy also does the same thing as Iqoo 3, just have a water drop notch. So in this is 2022 and still having a water drop notch is, that means it's too old when compared to that 2022 scenarios. So I didn't like the water drop notch. I expected a punch hole selfie camera, but so that's a really con if you compare with the Iqoo 6 Pro versus the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite. Okay, now let's move to the processors. So in the processor segment, I can say the Iqoo 6 Pro is a clear winner because of the Snapdragon 778 with Adreno 642L. And if you ask me, the OnePlus Nord CE2 comes with Snapdragon 695 with Adreno 619. And along with that, the reason why I just give the win for the Iqoo was it also comes with vapor chamber cooling as well as 4D game vibration too. So in terms of the processor as well as gaming, I would say the clear win for the Iqoo 6 Pro. Now let's move to the audio part. So that's the part really interesting. Let's check which one tests the audio better. So let's play the same videos on both. So clean and dance. So on the OnePlus, so on the Iqoo 6 Pro, enabled audio booster mode. Okay, both seems really nice. I felt a light better on the what we call Iqoo 6 Pro. Let's check another audio. And Nord C2 Lite 5G. Oh. Okay, I think some scenarios the Nord C2 Lite 5G is just better. Some scenarios Iqoo. So I would say it's a tie for the audio, I would say. And some scenarios, if you ask me, most of the scenarios Iqoo Nord C2 Lite is slightly better. But actually some scenarios they both are tie, and some scenarios the Iqoo 6 Pro performs much better, slightly better, I would say. So yeah, I would say in terms of audio, both are almost neck and neck, or I would say a tie for the audio. And now let's move to the camera. So let's see. So 64 MP main cameras on board, and then we are having a 8 MP ultra wide over here, and just we are having a 2 MP depth assist camera as well as a 2 MP macro camera. So apart from that ultra wide camera, we have a 2 MP macro here too. So I would say meaningless camera on the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite versus meaningful camera on the Iqoo 6 Pro. And if you ask me about the modes are really great on the what we call on the Iqoo 6 Pro versus in comparison with the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite 5G. So let me show the modes really quick. So both are having the night mode, portrait mode, and video. In video we are also getting the stabilization mode, which in this segment is rare to see. You can see the stabilization mode with this ultra stable mode is also available over here. And apart from that, in the more we can see both are having the dual view video, pro modes, and also really nice. But actually in terms of the portrait modes, I would say that the retouch filters or options are available, and over here we can adjust the blur of the portrait, and over here we can have tons of style options. We can see blurring, same aperture option. So I would say in terms of the modes as well as for camera samples output, I like the Iqoo 6 better, not much better, slightly about 5% is better than the Nord C2 Lite. So in terms of the camera performance. And now regarding the selfies, 16 MP selfie cameras on both, and I felt okay with the selfies. And now the main thing in this segment, that means the under display fingerprint scanners. So you can see, let's check. So in 3, 2, 1 and go. See, both are really fast. And once again in 3, 2, 1 and sorry, that was a mismatch. Once again in 3, 2, 1 and see, both are really fast. Now let's check the face recognition on both. So in 3, 2, 1 and see, both are really fast. Once again in 3, 2, 1 and go. Okay, so both were neck and neck. I would say slightly better on the Iqoo 6 Pro. Let's check in 3, 2, 1 and go for the final time. Okay, once again in final time in 3, 2, 1 and go. Okay, so Iqoo 6 Pro was a slightly better, I would say, but most scenarios both were neck and neck. And now let's move to the battery and charging. So 4700 mAh versus 5000 mAh over here, but 66 watts versus 33. So I would say, and I couldn't felt any marginal difference between the battery backup on both. So I would say the Iqoo 6, I felt Iqoo 6 is slightly better in terms of the battery, and I mean the charging speed, 66 watt charger on the Iqoo 6 Pro. Now comes to the main thing of the OnePlus, that's the UI. So its UI is clean, neat, no bloatwares, everything works fine, and you can see a list of bloatwares like Daily Hunt, Mode, Spotify, MX Tech Attack, MX Share, Byju's, Cred, Josh, and it goes on and on. And so, but actually over here you can see no bloatware. I would say no bloatware is clean, simple, neat UI. But if in terms of the customization range, I would say this is that means the IQ Fanta choice is slightly better than this guy, than the OnePlus in terms of the custom, because it's have a tons of customization features. That means if you are really a fan of customization, then you would feel that the IQ is slightly more customization when it's compared to the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite. And in the verdict, if you ask me which one I feel personally the best, I would say the OnePlus Nord C2 Lite versus iQOO Z6 Pro. The winner would be the iQOO Z6 Pro. But actually, I felt the cons like this not having the punch hole selfie cameras, and apart from that, I felt almost everything is okay regarding the processor as such. That means a good processor. That means the Snapdragon 778 on this segment. So apart from that, the front selfie camera, everything was perfectly fine. So guys, that's all for today. Signing off, it's Phone Mania.